Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend. Here we go. It is week 10, March 6, 2017, day 1. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, first-time visitors, welcome. If this is the first time you're watching videos, plenty of old videos to go through, but keeping it current of today's price action. Again, going over a chart can be great if you see it at the end of the day, but as it happens in the trading day here, we see it live action played out. Some of the setups, while they look great, don't always work out, and some of the setups might just be avoided based on major support or resistance lines. And the point is to point exactly those setups and to show you where highest probability setups occurred during today's price action and where the market may just be headed for tonight, Globex, what to look for, and for tomorrow's session. So keep that in mind as we roll here into day 1. Minding the gap is exactly where we were. As the open gaps downside were in the crosshairs. Let's pull up those daily gaps. Actually, got a better picture, but I'll go ahead right to there. Price action. Let me pull up the gap. There it was over the weekend. There we go. Price action on the gaps. Here we can see NQs last week, 32.75 was the opening of the week with gaps to the downside. Gaps to the downside, being mindful of those gaps as I had brought up in the technical momentum outlook for the week, and that is exactly where the ES took us today, right there with a weekly opening price at 23.72 to close out the gap, 23.67 downside. So we'll go over that here in a little bit, but open gaps remaining downside, YM to the downside, and NQ as well. All right, so where were we this morning? Price action pre-market trend as we look at each day. 15 minutes prior, we were looking at the screen share, a little bit of chop after a downtrend, uptrend, kind of mishmash inside Globex. Here we saw the VIX already down 11.37, not much on the economics calendar today as we roll into contract rollover a week and non-farm payrolls at the end of the week. But with an NQ sitting in a downtrend from the Globex, pre-market trend pretty much in a downtrend, sitting at the daily, weekly VWAP, with our Globex session numbers in. Upside, we were looking to 53.61, 53.71, now almost obtainable actually there. That's about as high as we got. And to the downside, 53.51 was our first level. And NQ actually popping down in between there and 53.12. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pre-market there on the NQ this morning. There she is on the 15-minute chart. So downside 53.51 as we were already sitting downside on the 4-hour with matching, excuse me, candles holding down, nothing matching, just holding down here at the support level, and the 60-minute chart holding at the major support. So to be ready in both directions means looking at the 15-minute chart first. As the 15-minute chart, MMLs can reset intraday session, 53.51 downside and 53.71 upside. And that's where we got up to, just about ringing the bell up there. There it was on the NQ. And looking at the ES, there she is. 23.72.75 with downtrend, uptrend, back upside, sitting in a downtrend pre-market. We were looking at 23.75. to the upside and just above 23.78, and that's exactly where we got 23.78 in the knickers right there, and downside 23.71 plus to close out the open gap. I'm sorry, and I apologize for not posting that open gap, but there it was, 23.67 posted down below. All right, trade session recap. That's exactly what we did. We closed out the gap on the ES. ES closes out the open gap, as we just saw. Again, net short from overnight as we take a look at the here at the TPO price action. Again, overnight session. There it was, the daily gap from upside actually closed out overnight but we want to see that closed out at regular trading hours. So net short from the beginning of the market, with price action not moving up to close that gap. The next open gap downside was that 23.67, which we exactly ran tagged. And once that, oh, sorry, that's the NQ. Wrong TPO, wrong TPO. Let's call out the ES. And let me grab that here. Hang on a second. There we go. All right, NQ was the prior TPO. It was the ES here with 23.80. Should have noticed that on the price. I apologize. But there it was, 23.80.75 from Friday. Price action again overnight. Tags it, but we were dead short this morning, not being able to grab those closing gap on the move up. So higher probability with the HA bars was looking downside. And there it was, 23.67 downside at the lows. And we never looked back and back upside. So we'll take a look at that. Good thing to have that market profile, especially from the night before. All right, anything else of note? Market internals just pretty much gradually improved throughout the session to the green side. Cum tick, and looking at the AD lines that we'll see here in a little bit, all lifted upside. No major news other than throughout Washington, and just some nice clean no long wick setups to keep you in the trend today, as we'll go ahead and look over the charts as they are posted here in the charts of interest and the end of day charts. All right, let's jump. Actually, let's just jump at the real highlight of the day here was the ES. Looking at the ES, but we had a nice trend there on the other markets. Note the AD lines this morning were also an intuitive market internal to see that we had really reached the outliers. Went ahead and posted this morning around post 30 minutes of the market open, and there you go. AD line already hanging out negative 90. Yeah, that's pretty much as far as we run. S&P 500 AD line also down at the outlier 430, as well as the YM down at the 25. We really weren't, and actually that's a negative number. We weren't really going any further down. That was pretty much it. So AD lines hold, and it was the ES. That's right, ES at first. That's right. Remember, we weren't going upside to take out exactly what? That's right. We weren't going out exactly upside to take out the overnight Friday's gap. There it was on the ES up here, 23.80.75. We're net short here. HA bars are doing what? They're showing us downtrend motion. So we got ourselves an ES entry right from the get-go. Again, I should have said majority of the entries no long wicks. That ES, very long wick on it. You hang on there. Price action, all it did was hit up at the weekly and the daily VWAP. Daily VWAP is right underneath here. Merged together. ES runs down for a nice move. Pops back up significantly to take out your entry. But once price action on the ES was able to come back all the way down to take out the open gap right here at 23.67. Again, the MML reset itself as this was not the picture at the beginning. Let me go ahead and pull up that ES pre-market. There was the ES first level downside was 23.71, 23.68.67. Open gap was all the way down to the reversal. All right, so ES with a nice move down. You bail out here, you're taking out of your stop, but you wait for the setup, you're patient, you got yourself another solid body tail down, 1 to 2 bars entry, and you're running it down with a high probability to the gap. Again, we stalled there. We definitely stalled. Look at that nice long wick right there, but we stalled, and finally, market tapped that open gap and closed it out. Well, if it wasn't for the downside, you got yourself another move upside. That's right, off the 23.67 ES. You wait a little bit. Maybe you took the first entry if you're off the levels. Major support resistance, Heikin-Ashi bars and trend. You wait till you're in trend. You can enter right above the cloud. You break the VWAP. You got a better probability of moving. And ES all the way up to major support resistance. Into the last hour, the ES still working its way up here to 23.82. That's not exactly where we finished out the day, but hey, I'll take 23.71. Remember, the number from the morning session, the ES pre-market, was up there at 23.78. I apologize, 23.78. But 23.82 was not in the cards for the ES today. So ES running it up today here to 23.78. Right there as we had it this morning. Monthly VWAP up above again with those nice 3 pockets of trend today. Open gap down below 23.67. NQ with a nice move downside. Here it was. First setup right from the market open was to the upside with market internals kind of a wash. 51.44 downside. So you're looking for the downward momentum. You get it. You got a solid body tail down. You ride it down. You bail out or you hold on to the chop and you work your way down here. And then eventually you might have just been trailing or you got out of the trade as price action on the AD lines. Remember, the AD lines were already at the outlier. So this market really had nowhere else to go downside. Price action lifts back up. You got the confirmation to the upside. Nice move up here. Again, pointing out in the trading room all day today, this move here looks like a nice setup. The Globex low was right here, so you waited. Price action lifts up and then comes down. Now, one of the things on this setup, while it looks great, is you had the solid body tail down. You have yourself a trend back in play, but you have a Globex. You wait. All of a sudden, 3 bars down. You might have just held off from this nice trending setup as it took at least 5 to 6 bars past the original setup to get into the trend. So this might have been something you might have held off in. You might have not got your market order filled on that one. All right, so anyway, NQ lifts up, holds to the upside, and pulls back. There's your opening price. We closed upside on the NQ. ES opening price, 23.72, finishes slightly upside, 23.75. And the YM finishing opening price 914, finishes up at 956. Again, small pocket of trend downside. It was the PM session, smooth to the tops and then pull back at the end. All right, as we mentioned before, daily gaps. That's right, we close them out, mind the gaps all the time. Here's our weekly opening prices. We still have open gaps downside, but market still seeming to be able to hold up. So when the market is ready, it will take out those former open gaps downside, but we are not ready to grab those yet as the AD lines work their way back up off the lows today. Looking at the pivot on the S&P, it was the NQ really not being able to go any further than negative 25, and she holds to the line today. All right, one other identifying factor for those of you who are actually pull up the quad. We'll let that set here. Oh, there we go. Again, those of you that follow the Shadow Trader, another good market internals to follow, cumulative ticks, whether you're watching them on the Sierra charts or whether you're watching them on, that's right, whether you're watching them on the Sierra charts. Again, indicator here, the tick nicey showing a nice move back upside. Here it is on a 5-minute chart, the majority of tick count to the upside, finally making that crossover in the PM session, but for the most part, downside today on the cum tick index to the short. All right, other charts, we've gone through the major indices. Crude, not much to speak of. Little bit of a move upside here in the AM session. PM session didn't get much out of maybe an early entry on the crude underneath the cloud. Not something I would have been in. So crude was pretty much a washout today. GC, a little bit smoother actually than the majority of trends here was Friday's close. Overnight Globex, not much. But there you go, solid body tail down, solid body tail down. Finally, nice pullback here at the Globex low. And then there you go, right downside. A little bit of a long wick there as we saw in the ES there, but nice trending move to the downside on the GC. All right, 6J, nice overnight Globex move here. And solid Heikin-Ashi bars, tails up, holding up. And then really the only move to talk about here was in the PM session. Again, anything else was VWAP above the cloud above the VWAP and trending bar. So really this was just a management on the way up, or you bailed out, you got yourself back in several times. But PM session, there you go, solid setup to the downside. And finally wrapping it up on the 6E as we do each day. Very smooth as the GC. Nice move on the caution here. I give it the dashed line. You might have held off until you had something more solid to the Globex low. Price action, again, that's your Globex session. 6E, Euro, not moving much during the U.S. session today, but there you go, your last setup of the day. All right, headed into the Globex session, and tomorrow, taking a look at the intraday. Let me get that big pick. There we go. Take a look. We'll work ourselves backwards. ES, nice move off the lows here, 23.67 as we see market action with about 15 more minutes to go. Holds up to about 50%. Watch the 61.8. If we break that, look down, back down to 23.67 as we continue to hold down on the 4-hour chart, 60-minute chart, all the way down to 23.59. If we hold around 61.8, look back up to major support resistance 23.75. If we're really going for it, it will be back up to 23.82 and eventually 23.90. Taking a look at the YM 4-hour, 60-minute, and 15-minute charts. Price action lifting off the lows today, almost up to resistance 977. Holds here at 61.8. We'll see how the Globex session rolls, but holding for the most part consolidation on the 4-hour chart here at the major support resistance as well as the 60 minutes. So flip a coin. We're going either directions. The levels are there. For now, I will default to the 15-minute chart, 977 to the upside. Break the 61.8. We're going down to 898. 4-hour chart, wrap it up. 60-minute, 15-minute, and 4-hour charts. We lifted, almost grabbing up there to the 71, but holding short. Major support resistance under. Watch the 50%. 61.8 will put us back down at support as we consolidate here. Again, the momentum on the fact the 4-hour chart is holding here at support. Major support resistance on the 60-minute. I give it the probability as the bigger picture is still to the upside. 53.71 would look good for at least the first tag upside, if not at least down to support here, 53.51, or any of the lower support, oversold, or reversal levels. Headed into tomorrow, economics, international trade, red. As we roll out the week, consumer credit, a couple of red star events, ADP, non-farm payrolls on Friday. And as well, what do we have? We have coming up, that's right, we got contract rollover as well. All right, that concludes an insight into the daily trend and technical momentum of the indices and key futures markets. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra, one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs, and as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only watch what's in front of me and on my charts, and always leave your bias at the door when trading. I'm talking about setups like this. 51.44, looking for candles underneath, in trend with a solid trade management setup. And that is all I'm looking for each day. Add in a couple of VWAPs on your chart from monthly to daily and weekly, and you have yourself a set of boundaries. Keep it simple on the charts, Jedi traders. Just keep it simple. Shout out, as I usually do, each day or each week to some key traders in the marketplace, like Jason Kelly, long-term strategist, monthly rebalancing. You got some great people in the trading community every day, every week. I recommend, but for the long-term trader, I can't but highly recommend jasonkelly.com. Check them out. Hey guys, for those of you that are interested in joining us, a community of like-minded traders seeking those highest probability setups, feel free to email me, David at tradingfibs.com. You may join us on any Thursday or Friday to view the live charts as they happen in the trading day. Make sure you check out the technical momentum outlook for week trend, and then 15 minutes prior to each day's price action, check out the pre-market trend, see where the highest probability setup is, at least for the opening for that day's session. Again, Globex session never indicative of where the day session will go, and Globex never indicative of what direction we may follow through in the morning. Hey guys, have yourselves a Blue Zone day wherever you may be. Good night, good day, or as I usually say, good day, good night, and good trading to you.